So I just had a conversation with Sue Willoughby, right? And we talked about Equus Coaching, which is coaching with horses, y'all. It was so interesting. I've never heard of this. I know some of you are probably like, Neena, really? You never heard of it? I never heard of it. I thought it was so awesome. Like, she has such an amazing energy about her. You guys are going to freaking love this episode because she is so like real and relatable and just kind and just like funny and all of these beautiful things. And I'm even in my head thinking, wow, I would love to do that. I would love to go and either make a retreat where I have her come and we go to a horse farm or something or something. But this is so amazing and fun and different. And I have to shut up now so you guys could go watch this episode because I absolutely loved this episode. And it's her birthday. So happy birthday, Sue. All right, you guys are gonna love this. So let me shut up so you guys can go and check it out. What up, y'all? This is Neena Perez, and this is Straight Talk, No Sugar Added. And I love you guys so much. Thank you guys for always hanging out and being the amazing humans that you are. I freaking love you. I love all the stuff that you guys have been doing and the way you've been reposting and sharing and all that great stuff. Our numbers are being amazingly growing and blowing up, and I just cannot thank you enough for all of that. And you know, I go around this freaking awesome planet finding the best humans I can find to come on here to grow, challenge, and transform your thinking. Now, this woman is having a birthday today, y'all. So happy birthday to Sue. I am so glad she's here and that she chose to spend this time that is her birthday with us, y'all. So thank you so much for being here, Sue. She is such a no nonsense. I already fell in love with her. Like, we spoke for like 2 seconds. I had to pull off the road to just like talk to her. She's so fun. She's the no nonsense founder of Willoughby Coaching. Now, she helps women over 40 cut through their BS and reclaim their lives through Equus Coaching. I'm trying to figure it out, y'all. You know, I'm Latina. Sometimes the words just don't come out. All right. So she's connecting like this. It's cool. This is so cool. Listen up, y'all. All right. She has like a horse and it gives you like this a way of coaching that gives you a deep insight into yourself. I've never heard of this before. That's why I'm so stoked she's here. Now, her journey is raw and real, y'all. So she's raised by a single alcoholic parent. She came out at the age of 17. She hit rock bottom and then she built herself back up. And now she has turned her lifelong love of horses into this bold coaching business. Now she's helping women ditch their fears and step into their authentic power. Now, you know, we love that around here, okay? Now, from DJ to stand-up comic to private pilot to roller derby rep, like, this woman is freaking cool, y'all. All right, so she has lived boldly, and now she is going to help you do the same. So, Sue, welcome to Straight Talk. How are you?
Oh my God. I am exhausted from that intro. Woo, girl. I'm old now, so hey, that was a
That
lot
is
to relive.
hilarious.
No,
A lot of
I'm doing
energy
good.
coming your way. I'm sorry about that.
No, I love that. I love that. That's what I love about your show. It's awesome. Thank you for
Thank
having me.
you. And thank you for being here. Happy birthday to you. Happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
So tell us, well, I think since you know my show and you've heard it, I want to always start with the same question because I love where people take this. So I want to know a little bit more about you, Sue. So who are you? Who are you?
Whew. Well, just let's replay that intro again and we're all good. I am someone who has, like you said, gone through a lot of stuff, been down a number of times and been able to get my, can I say this on the air? Shit
Yeah, anything you
together.
want. Yes.
Okay. Been able to, slowly get my shit together and repackage it and not push it down and face some difficult things and come out the other side so that I can help others kind of realize that, it is not the end of the road. You can reinvent yourself. And the other thing is I just enjoy my life and I enjoy
I love that.
bringing my energy, like just like you do, to other people and to the world.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful thing, isn't it? Right? When we have the gift of life. And what I mean by
Mhm.
that is like, all the stuff that you've been through, Sue, and I've been through, and all the people who are listening, like take an inventory because you've been through some stuff, right?
Yeah.
All of us has been through some stuff. And we always feel like the next battle is maybe the one that we can't get through. And then we get
Mhm.
through it. And then the
Yeah.
next battle is like, I don't know if I'm gonna get through this shit. And then we get through it, right? It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
right, right. We're equipped. And I love that you have decided to take that and instead of being a victim, becoming a victor and saying, you know what, I'm going to shift this because there's other
Yeah.
people who are going through stuff too and need what I do, right? So
Yep.
I love that. I mean, what are some of the the obstacles that came your way and the tools that you had to use to overcome that?
Um, well, like you said, I grew up with an alcoholic parent and, my parents stayed together until I was about 11, which wasn't that beneficial for me, but that's why they did it.
Mhm.
And so it made me be really independent and when I say fiercely independent, that also required me to be very protective of myself
Mm,
because I never
mhm.
really knew what I was going to walk into. Didn't have a lot of trust in, people, places, things, because it
Yeah.
was scary, scary stuff out there. Now I'm not saying that I mean, I had a really pretty good childhood, all things considered. But internally, there was some, stuff that just made me not, uh, hide, I guess, and pack things away, so that
Mhm, mhm,
move
mhm.
forward. And at the time, growing up, you just do what you need to do at that moment, right? So kind of like the horses, I try to just be in the moment, but when you don't know what to expect in that moment, it gets scary
Mm,
sometimes.
mhm, mhm.
So I just would go be in survival mode a lot of times. So that
Yeah,
was not
yeah.
always the best place to be, but, you gotta take care of yourself. And, when your parents are doing the best that they can, it's not you. It's, they're dealing with their shit or they're not dealing with their shit, and you're just kind of the result,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you can either wallow in that, like you said, you can be the victim or the victor. So I chose to just keep moving forward.
Mhm, mhm, mhm. I wonder how you feel about this. Like, do you think that is innate in us or something that we're taught to be survivors, right?
Mm,
Because okay, so I meet people like you. You're strong. I'm
mhm,
reading everything that you're doing. So you love life. It looks like you love to do a lot of different things. You love to be involved in your life, right? I love that.
yeah, yeah,
And then there's other people that I've spoken to that have been victims to maybe even I don't know if we want to compare it to less or whatever, but have been like it's caused destruction, right?
mhm.
And they can't seem to get out of it. So I wonder how you think about this. Do you think this is something that is innate in us, in some people, to overcome, to fight, to strap on their boots and just keep going? Or do you think that it's taught? I'm just curious about what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, I think that is a really good question, and I would my answer would be it depends.
Yeah.
I think that not everyone has, and like I said, I just forged ahead for whatever, and it could be something that was inside me that was just like, I don't know, I'm just a curious person by nature. When I was a
Yeah.
kid, I was always into things, and I wanted to learn and do, and I just wanted to try new stuff all the time regardless of my situation. I just was curious.
Yeah.
And I think that what we see and what we see and how we grow up and who's around us, I don't know. I think my mom was strong. I mean, she lost both her parents when she was young, so there was a certain amount of strength.
Yeah.
But she was hiding in the alcohol, right?
Yeah.
And that was her coping mechanism. But she was a strong, smart, amazing woman. And I think my biggest thing for her is that I wish she could have realized that and
Mhm.
not been so hard on herself. So I
Yeah.
think, even when I was little, I knew that. And so to your question, I don't know. I think it might be innate. It might just be my personality. It might be
Yeah.
how who I am and how I grew up. But I do think that people can learn to change if they're in that other space where
Yeah.
they feel like I'm no good, I'm no whatever, and they're hiding in that space because that's kind of where they feel safe, right? They've
Yeah.
themselves in there. They can, and some of my clients are like that too, where, you know, they've built this comfort zone or whatever because that's where they feel safe. And
Mhm.
once you can learn that staying there is not always the best option, and because you feel safe doesn't necessarily mean that you
You
are.
are. Yeah.
And I think that you can overcome those
Yeah.
those feelings of being the victim or being that you're not enough.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I just kind of plowed through life. That
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
a dump truck and a
Same.
bulldozer and everything all at once. So not everybody's gonna do that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
We
but
all
I
need
think
the help though, right, Sue? We all
yes,
need that
sure.
help. We all need that support. So what
Yeah,
was that for you? What was that shift for you? Because I know as I was reading your bio that you've gone
yeah,
through some hard things, right? And I briefly touched on how you kind of hit rock bottom and had to build yourself back up. So
yeah.
what was that shift moment for you that you realized this has to change? Like I don't want to do this anymore. What was that?
Phew, I've had a lot of shift moments in my life,
Yeah. Yeah.
shift happens, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
and with every shift, like when I decided to come out at age 17, I mean, that was a shift. I was like,
Mhm.
"Okay,
Mhm.
I can't try to pretend to be straight," not that I really was.
Right.
But, coming out and then I'm like, "Okay, now I'm in this other place. I have to figure out how to belong here and how
Yeah.
to navigate this scenario." And then I did really hit rock bottom. I did try to take my life when I was 19, and
Mm, mm.
I would love to say that that was a huge pivotal moment for me, but it wasn't necessarily. I mean,
Right.
I was still, swimming in my own goo, which was not great. I was like, okay, well, I'm still here. I'm like I said, I didn't have the emotional intelligence back then to understand really what was going on. Only that,
Right.
okay, this I can't be this depressed and this miserable. But at the time, I didn't go to therapy or anything. I just kind of kept moving forward,
Mhm,
and
mhm.
and I would, to be honest with you, I mean, I was a little self-destructive. Well, obviously, but I mean, beyond that, just not really caring. Like, well, I don't give a fuck. Whatever happens, happens, right?
Happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just kind of had that attitude. And, you know, as your friend group changes or when you're doing things that require more of your involvement and people around you are doing things that lift you up, you start to realize, oh, I don't have to stay in this place anymore.
Mm,
Um, I met someone and had the opportunity to move across country with them, and that was probably the most pivotal moment in my life. And I moved out to the West Coast. I went back to school. I started a new career, and I was around people who were challenging me by their purely by their being and where they were in life.
I love
So
that.
yeah, and you need people around you that are going to lift you
Yeah.
up
Yeah.
and not keep you where you are, because if they're unhappy and they're miserable and they want to stay in their miserable little lives, they want you to as
Mhm.
well, because
Mhm.
they don't want you to succeed and thrive. And it's the sad truth, because
Yeah.
then they will feel less than. Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, it's that saying, right? Misery loves company. It's a very
Oh,
true thing.
absolutely.
It's a
Yeah.
very true thing. It's like,
Yeah.
that's why when I was, going through my struggles of like my depression, anxiety, all that stuff, trying to get through my things, pity parties were fun because people joined you. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That's why it's called a pity party, because people want to be in that party with you,
Yeah.
right? Because
Totally.
it's so fun. So tell me, because I love the angle of what you're doing now, right? The way
Mhm.
you are helping women over 40, and you're using a horse or horses to help them with that and navigate that. But that's
Yeah.
very interesting, right? Like I've never heard of that. I think it's phenomenal. I actually, the horse happens to be my favorite animal. I just think it's the most
Oh, yay.
beautiful, majestic, strongest, unbelievable animal. It's just so beautiful. I don't
Yeah.
own any, never have, but I just every time I look at them, I pause. I just can't. It's so beautiful. So just tell me about that journey for you, because now you're coaching women, right? So what is that? Like, why use the horses? What did that mean to you? What are you helping women with? I just want to know about that more.
Yeah, that's great, and you are down in Texas, so you got a lot of horses
Yeah.
down there. You're
Yeah.
gonna go
I get
snuggle a
to
horse,
see them a lot. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
right? So the horses have always been a thread in my life. I grew up taking riding lessons. I would go to the barn. It was like my sanctuary. My mom, I'd make her drive me in 3 feet of snow in upstate New
Mhm.
York, and I would just spend the day there. And so they've always been a thread, and I didn't realize how therapeutic they were. Like I said, I
Mhm.
loved being at the barn because it was a place that I felt safe and comfortable and just happy, right? It just made
Yeah.
me feel happy. And then as I got older, I worked at a summer camp for uh, adults and younger people with special needs, and that was really fun. And
Mhm.
I was in the horseback riding program or the horse therapy program at the time, and they would come to the horse program, and that would be one of their activities, and they would ride or lead or brush or do whatever, and it was so amazing. And then in my later in my adult years, I volunteered at a therapeutic riding facility in Washington. And so, I mean, all of these things and horses have been in my life at particular times where I didn't realize that they were helping me with so much stuff, right?
Mm.
And then I found a program that I was curious about. I was like, I want to get into therapeutic horsemanship somehow or whatever, but I didn't want to do the riding thing. I do ride, but I didn't want that to be my program. And I found a Equus Coaching institution, and I'm like, that's it. That is the
Wow.
thing.
Didn't even know this
Um,
existed, Sue. I didn't
right?
even know. This is so cool.
I love spreading knowledge about this because it is so incredibly helpful
Unique.
and unique and amazing. I mean, the experiences that people have when they're in the presence of these majestic animals
Mhm.
is just incredible. It really is. So
So
that's kind
cool.
of the path that I took, and I got certified as a certified Equus coach, and then also as a master facilitator, so I can run group events. So whether corporate events or I do themed retreats, which is really fun. And then it can be a group activity or a group thing for multiple days, usually 2 to 3 days. And it's so immersive, and the
Mm.
people are connecting with each other and with the horses, and you're out in nature. I mean,
Nature, yeah.
all of those things just bring you right to your core. And that
Yeah.
is the essence of it.
Yeah.
It brings you back into your body and into your core because all of those things that we talk about, the trauma, the struggles, the everything that we've been through is stored in our bodies.
Mhm, mhm,
Surprise, it's in
mhm.
there and it comes up. It manifests itself and it comes up. It can come out in tears, it can come out in anger, it can come out in a lot of ways, but it's like a pressure cooker, right? You can't keep that inside all that time
Yeah.
without some sort of eruption, right?
So, can you walk me through a little bit about what your program does, or what it? I know you said about the retreats, a couple of days. You could do
Mhm,
groups,
mhm,
but I also know that you also like helping women, right? You like helping these women like transcend all of that,
mhm,
the stuff they're going through. So, talk me through that. Like, so I have a lot of people who listen to this show,
mhm.
and a lot of women. And so I want to know, like, if someone, calls you and Sue, they've never done this before, don't never heard of this, but want to try. What does that look like? What is it that you're doing with them? How do you get? Tell me about your program. I think is the question I'm asking.
Okay, like, for example, what would a session look like?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, perfect. So if I'm doing a one-on-one session, a live session, now I also coach online. I use a lot of the intuitive horse wisdom to coach online and do group coaching online as well. And sometimes those culminate in a retreat. Okay, so
Mhm.
what would a
I love that.
session with somebody look like? They would come to the barn, wherever that is. If I'm not going to them, but I mean, if I'm in an area where maybe they're coming to me, whether it be where I am now, they would come to me and we would talk about, and we probably would have had a conversation before they even get there because I like to know a little bit about what's going on with
Yeah.
them. And then they would meet the horse, and depending on their level of comfort, because not everyone feels comfortable with the horses. They're big, they're 1,200 pounds, and people are scared of them, to be honest with you. And they, you have to be respectful of their space, but they're prey animals, and people don't realize that. So to them, we are predators, right? Our eyes are in the front of our face, and we're like,
Right.
we're predators to them. So once people understand that, then I will take them through a series of exercises. We'll do a little safety demo. I'll show them how to interact with the horse. And then they have the opportunity. I have them set an intention based on what they want to work on and what they want to take away from the session. And then they will go into a round pen, which is a round kind of fenced in area or a small enclosed arena, and the horse will be at liberty. And by that, I mean the horse is free to move about. There's no halter or lead rope on it. It is just free to roam around and be a horse. And then the person will go in, and I usually ask people to ground themselves just because I want them to be present in what's going on.
Yeah.
And then I'll ask them to interact with the horse in whatever way they choose. They can make the horse move around the arena in the ways that I've shown them. They can approach the horse and see if they can make a connection that way. Whatever activity they choose, and it's all on the ground. There's no riding, so you don't need any riding experience. It gives me the opportunity to watch what the horse's behavior is, right? If they're paying attention, if they're staying away from the
Mm-hmm.
person, if they come up to the person, how they're moving, how they're reacting and interacting with the person or not interacting. And that gives me the opportunity to then ask very pointed questions and very specific questions about what I'm observing. So,
Mm.
for example, if someone is walking with the horse, let's say, and the horse has decided to join them and walk next to them, and the horse is, kind of picking at their shoulder, like nuzzling them or, crowding them or doing something weird, I can ask them, what's happening? And they may say, oh, nothing. I don't mind that. That's okay. He's in my face a little bit, but that's okay. So, okay, well, let's just keep going. So then if this persists and the horse just like won't leave them alone, and I notice that they're getting a little agitated, I can ask, what's happening? What are you
Mhm.
seeing now? What is it? Well, the horse is kind of in my business and in my space. Okay, how does that feel to you? Well, it doesn't feel
Mm.
very good. Okay. And what are you going to do about it? Oh, it's okay. It happens to me all the time. I don't mind. Like, well, what happens to you all the time? Right?
Right.
And you can just very quickly kind of cut through the BS and get to the point. Whereas with talk therapy, people can tell you whatever they want, or talk coaching.
Yeah.
Blah, 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 blah. They can just justify everything and talk about all that stuff. Not that that doesn't work, right? But when you have a 1,200-pound being giving you some direct feedback as a client, yeah,
Right.
you
Right.
can't hide, right?
That's
The
so
thing is with the
interesting.
horses, yeah, they don't judge you. They don't care. They don't care if you're afraid. They don't care that you're whatever, mad or whatever. They just care that you're honest. They
Right.
care that you are congruent. Your insides match your outsides. And I think that is really the kind of the biggest, coolest thing about it, because
Mhm.
you can cut right through with the BS. Like I said, the horses don't lie. They don't
Right.
lie.
Yeah,
They will
so
mirror. Yeah.
interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
so the horse is in cahoots with you, basically. He's helping you with the therapy.
Right.
That's so funny
Right.
because I know she has problems with space. So
Boundaries.
I'm gonna be all up in her space. That is so
Right.
interesting.
Yeah. I'm
So
gonna push
so
it
they
further down.
naturally have that. Is that what it is? Is that these majestic, amazing beings, they have that instinct? Is that what
Mhm.
you're seeing when you okay, okay, that's
Yeah.
so interesting.
Well, part of it is being a prey animal, right? They have to be aware, even domesticated horses, right? It's in them, right? It's in their blood that
Mhm.
they are constantly concerned about being attacked or being, killed or stalked or whatever. So they are aware. They are in the moment. They have to
Oh,
be, right?
wow.
Because they're like, "What is that? What is that? What is that? What is that?" They're
Mhm.
also herd animals. So when they're in their herd environment, they are looking to one of the herd members for leadership. And when you're in the space with a horse, you are their herd, right? It's the two of you.
Okay.
You're the herd. And they're looking to you for some sort of leadership. And can I trust this person to lead me? Because if I can't, I'm going to be the leader. And then
Mm.
that may not be the best option for you, right? So you have to make that connection with them and earn their trust and be grounded and be present and be congruent, because then they can say, okay, nonverbal communication is huge. They don't talk
Mm.
to each other.
Mhm.
The other thing that they go through those emotions and those feelings very quickly. So if they're out in the pasture, they hear something, right? The head would come up and the ears would perk up, and they would, maybe tilt one ear one way and one ear the other way, and then they would look, and they're assessing, am I in danger? Is something
Right.
going to come out and attack me? And then once they go through all of those steps, they're like, okay, no, I'm good. It was just a leaf.
Right, right. That's
A
so
goofy thing that
interesting.
freaks them out, and then they go back to grazing. So they go through all that stuff. They don't hold on to it. I would joke that,
Mm.
they don't stand around the water tub and talk about, "Hey, Joe, you remember the other day when that plastic bag just about killed me?"
Right.
"Oh, yeah, I saw that. Oh my god, I can't believe that happened to you." Right? They're like, "Yeah, I'm still freaking out about that." They don't care, right? They're
Right,
they're
right.
done. It happened, they're done. Now,
Yeah,
of course, if they've
yeah,
been abused and they have, trauma, then yes, sometimes they'll just shut down. They'll go into that freeze mode.
yeah.
But for the most part, somebody, you try and go over and eat somebody's hay and they nail you, they kick you, they bite you, they whatever. You're like, okay, got it, got that message. I will not be taking your dinner. So
Right, right. Is
the
this
point,
something
move
that
on.
do you have to train them to be around so many different people? No?
No,
Okay. Because I was gonna say, like, you know how we have, like, therapy dogs, right? You have to
right.
train the dog to be a therapy dog. I was just wondering if you had to do that kind of work with a horse.
No, you just let them be a horse. Now, obviously, I'm not gonna put somebody in an arena with a wild
Of course. Yeah.
stallion that, where they could get hurt, but no, you don't have to. You just let them be a horse, and that's what they do anyway. If they wanna roll in the arena in the middle of a session, they're gonna roll. If they wanna take a poop, they're gonna take a poop. They're just
Right,
being themselves, so
right.
you just and the thing is that's really fun is that you can use the same horse for 2 or 3 sessions, and they will give each individual person exactly what they need.
That's just so interesting. That is just just my brain is just going because 'cause I'm like, "That is so interesting to me." Alright, so now, when these horses are like, are interacting with these people, do you have like a testimony or a story of something that's happened that was super powerful that you saw happening between the horse and the therapy that you were doing?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Well, the boundary one was really, really
Yeah.
good
That was really good.
one. Um, it's funny because a lot of times people will come in with these kind of big, lofty things, and like it, whatever they're going to get to, it ends up being something completely different. But I had a client
Mm,
one time that said, I don't know how to have fun anymore. I don't know how to bring joy into my life. Like,
mm,
okay, well, we'll see what we can do. So they went in, and when initially they were very stiff in leading the horse around. They actually wanted to lead the horse and not have the horse free. Okay, that's fine. So they were leading the horse on lead rope and just like stiffly marching around. And I said, "Are you having fun yet?" And and it was just funny because I was like, "Well, that doesn't look like a lot of fun to me." I said
Right.
I said,
It's
"What does
funny.
fun," so I said, Are you, how are you feeling right now? Tell me how you're feeling." "Nervous." "Okay, great. Let's work with that." Right? So we work with the nervous part. "What would make you feel like you're having fun?" "Well, I just wanna be playful." "Okay, what does that look like for you?"
Mm.
I mean, some people really don't even know anymore, like, "What?" "I
Right,
don't know.
right.
I'm really good at my job, I'm really good at this thing, but I don't know how to step outside of that and be playful." So by the end of the session, the halter and the lead rope was off, and the horse was running around the arena, and the person was skipping and laughing and not caring what anybody would think. There's obviously nobody there, but it's like dance like nobody's looking, right? Like, and just having a blast and laughing. And I said, "What are you feeling right now?" And I said, "Joy and fun." Oh,
That's so good.
and then and then you to close out the session, it's like, well, what can you take away from this session that you can then use out in the world in your
Mhm.
life?
Mhm.
So
Yeah. I think one of them is not trying to control everything, right? Because she was trying to control the situation and lead the situation. That is so cool. So, Sue, is it like a one-off session? Do people sign up for multiple sessions? How does that look like
it can be sometimes it can be a combination of live horse sessions and then online
on the
coaching
virtual?
sort of in
Mhm.
between. Yep, exactly. So that you can bridge that gap. Some people will sign up for a series, multiple sessions where there's, maybe one a month or whatever. And sometimes some people come and they'll do like a half day, or they'll do, a longer period of time, and like for a tune up, and
Yeah.
like, I just really need it. Like like you go to the chiropractor and you get tuned up,
Yeah.
or I go to an energy healer and I'm like, okay, we need to clear out some of the junk that's sticking to me. So let's do that. So some people will do that as well. It really depends on what the ultimate goal is. And a lot of times, like I said, they may come in with this big goal and realize, oh, okay, we've got to peel back some layers and work
Mm-mm.
on the core. But the beauty of it is that the horses get to the point very quickly, so people can have a pretty good aha moment, and like in one session or two sessions.
It's
But
so
usually
good.
people will sign up for more than one. Yeah.
I love that so much. I love what you're doing. I love it all. Like I could talk to you forever, ever. I think it's so good. It's so good. I never had this conversation before. I never heard of this. I never had this conversation. I mean, I've heard of course, therapy, dogs, and things like that, but I never heard of that. And I know I've heard about like donkeys too, like therapy with
Mhm,
donkeys, and especially
mhm.
with people with different abilities, right? So it's pretty
Donkeys
amazing.
are a different breed for sure.
Oh, I for sure, right? For sure. I just always loved horses. I don't know what it is since I was a little girl. I was just always staring
It's
at
their
them. They're just so
magic.
beautiful.
It's
Yeah,
their magic.
absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah.
My
So
big
Sue,
horse named Moose is just very sweet, and I just like to go over
yeah,
and sniff him sometimes.
I bet is he the only one you have right now? The moose?
Yes, yeah,
Is he
yeah.
the
I
other?
use
Yeah,
other people's horses, and I use rescue
yeah.
horses for
That's
yeah,
so good. That's so good. So before I let you go, because like I said, I could talk to you forever, and we already I'm already keeping you longer than I promised.
Oh,
I
okay.
I want to have you give us how people can contact you and do this, because
Yeah,
this is magical. I mean, even I'm like, oh, let's see, how are we going to
you're
make
gonna
this
have to come to a
happen?
retreat. Yeah, you gotta come to a retreat. Maybe
Yeah,
we can do it in Texas for you and all of your folks. That'd be super
oh my
fun.
god, it's so fun. I mean, I just love the whole idea of it. So,
Yeah.
tell us how people can contact you and really start working with you on, like you said, you can do this virtually as well, right?
Mhm.
So, give
Yeah.
us that information so people can contact you.
Sure. On Instagram, I'm at Sue_Willoughby, my last name, Willoughby. And my website, willoughbycoaching.com are the two best ways to get in touch with me.
That's amazing. Do you give them like, could somebody just call and kind of get information? Is there like a free session they can call you for, or?
Yeah, I do discovery calls,
Okay,
for sure. And
great.
there's a lot of information on my website, but yeah, I do discovery calls because the other thing is too, I may not be the coach for everyone.
Yeah.
So, I want to make sure that we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah, I think you're the best coach for everyone. Don't worry about it. Listen, you
Aw.
got this. You're
Uh,
amazing. Your energy, all of it is just all good. Maybe it's being around all those horses. I don't know, but it's just so
yeah.
good. Sue, thank you for being here on Straight Talk and teaching us something new and something amazing. And I love what you're bringing out into the world. So thank you so much for being transparent in the beginning and open to talk about your life and all that. I appreciate you. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thanks for
So
having
cool.
me.
So cool. Guys, I'm going to list all of our information below because, like you, I am super interested. So I want to make sure you guys have all that information because it just sounds so beautiful and magical and real. And you can connect instead of like, watching your phone all the time or, watching TV or doing all the social media stuff. Why don't you disconnect from all of that stuff and then go spend time in like nature and with a beautiful, majestic animal like a horse? I just think they're amazing. And I want you guys to really think about, how this can really strategically teach you something that you didn't know about yourself. So I want to make sure to list all that information because I don't want you to miss a thing. I thank you guys so much for sharing, subscribing, all that great stuff that you do. Because of you, we are ranking at like top 1.5% podcast to listen to. And it's because of you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. So happy birthday to you again, Sue. I really appreciate you spending this time. All right, guys. Love you so much. Until next time.